Got her on the U-Haul. Got my mom's Jeep. Shout out to my mom for letting me use her Jeep. And now we're gonna take this thing over to the little shop that I'm gonna be working on it at. Let's just head on the road. Alrighty guys, we got this thing to the shop. My sister's boyfriend, Brock, really awesome dude. He has this garage right here, this beautiful garage that he's letting me use with this lift. So yeah, with this thing gonna be making almost double the power that it had stock. It definitely needs the rear end reinforced quite a bit. It had reinforcement plates, but that's definitely not enough for the torque and power that this thing's gonna be making. I plan to make about 550 wheel or so. Wanted to keep it somewhat low just so it's reliable and I don't have to worry about breaking axles and all that stuff. I think 550 is plenty. All right guys, we got her all raised up. Got the rear wheels off. So let's just get on to taking this whole rear end apart. Oh, she crusty and dirty, boys. Dang, I gotta clean that up. All right, we got mostly everything disconnected. Now we just gotta get the subframe unbolted and it should come apart. All right guys, so yesterday we got the subframe completely out, just the entire rear end basically taken off. So yeah, today we're gonna have to grind out these old reinforcements that was put in by the previous owner. As you can see, they don't really cover much surface area. The CMP ones are gonna cover much more surface area, just to prevent the reinforcement from transferring over to other places. As you can see right here, we started to crack quite a bit. So we're gonna have to drill out that crack, weld it up. We're gonna cut these out, weld in the new CMP ones that cover much more surface area. And then we're gonna start working in the boot area. So we never have to worry about this ever again. We're gonna install these into the boot area. I'll show you guys once we get to that point. So yeah, my goal is to get all these plates cut out today. Wow, just look at the difference. These are the old mounts that were in the car. These are like just your average E46 reinforcements. As you can see, very small, very thin metal. In my opinion, complete waste of time to use these. Here's why. So like that one's all welded in. There's literally no surface area, so like it covers absolutely nothing. Like the CMP ones, they go all the way up. They just tie everything in. So like this whole entire piece now is reinforced as opposed to this little tiny little surface area. And you can see right here, there's not enough cracks to start forming above it. So yeah, don't waste your time. Don't use these mounts. I'll have a link in the description for your CMP's products. Definitely want to get these. They're literally basically the same price as these. So why the heck would you waste your time with these when these are about the same price and much better quality, much thicker, much stronger, covers all the surface area. It's a no-brainer. The reinforcements will come with this amazing guide on how to properly install these reinforcements. It even has them all numbered, and it just gives you a step-by-step, like everything you need to know. I don't think any other company has put this much work and thought into their reinforcements and just directions on how to install them properly. So yeah, guys, definitely check out CMP, link in the description. Use code HOONGARAGE, all one word, capital H, capital G, to get 10% off. And then they also have a 20% off sale going on right now, so you really get 30% off, which is absolutely insane. You definitely don't want to miss out on this. Here are the bushings we have for the entire rear end. CMP makes these all. Here we have the diff bushings. Here's the trailing arm bushings. These are a mono ball, so it still allows articulation so it doesn't bind. So you can get poly ones of these, but it'll create bindage. They do still need to have a little bit of articulation. So these are definitely awesome. This will really help improve the car's handling. And then here's the diff bushings. So you can see they're raised, which corrects center roll geometry. In turn, just adds rear grip. So these are gonna be sick. It just tightens the entire chassis. So like when you have blown subframe bushings, it allows so much movement, which really doesn't help with the cracking issue. So when there's like a lot of movement, it really creates a lot more stress. So you'll definitely want to do these when you're doing the reinforcement job, and you might as well get these because these are going to really help with your handling. And you don't want to have stock diff bushings either, because these are usually the first to go out of all these bushings. So yeah, guys, go check out CMP, link in the description. We are on the last reinforcement that we're cutting out. As you can see, almost all the way out. It's such a pain grinding all these welds out and not trying to like mess up the body as much as possible. It's pretty hard, but almost finished finally. So that's a big nightmare. Finally, those will be out of the car, and we're gonna start prepping to put the CMP reinforcements in. Not a very fun job. Lots and lots of grinding. But we're gonna get this guy out, and then finally should be ready for prepping for welding, finally. So with the plates off, you're gonna see this thing definitely needed this job done. It was pretty bad. So I circled everything in Sharpie that needs to be addressed. Probably kind of see right there, crack right there that we gotta drill out to stop it from spreading. And then right down here, bad crack that goes all the way to this side. It ends around right here, so we're gonna have to drill that out to stop the crack from getting any bigger. Then we're gonna weld up all these cracks up. There's a spot weld right here that's been pulled. Crack right there, crack right there, crack right here. This all needs to be filled in. Bad crack right here. We gotta fill in some of these spot welds on the, you can see right here, spot welds just get pulled. More spot welds to fill in. You can see those are all not holding on to anything anymore. Yeah, let's just get to work and just fix up all these cracks just to prep it to make sure it is ready to go to get the reinforcements installed, because we don't want any cracks in this thing when we put the reinforcements in. right, not gonna lie, these look pretty trash, but it was really hard because this is really thin metal, and I don't have a lot of seat time on the welder, so I guess we're practicing as we go. But as you can see, it looks pretty horrible, but we're just gonna grind it all down, and I know it's penetrated enough, so it should have just fixed all the cracks. I think we are all ready with all the cracks. I'm just gonna double check everything, get off any of this little surface rust, because it's been sitting for a day because I had to take a break because this is just so much work. Yeah, we are pretty much all prepped and ready to go. So we're gonna grind off any of the excess welds. This, don't even pay attention to this. This was such a mess. And this end only easily burned in holes. So like I would touch the welder to it and huge hole would burn through. So I had to fill in all this with weld, and we sanded it down just about as flat as possible. So yeah, I mean, that's not ideal, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna get all this prepped and ready to go, and then just throw some weld through primer over it, and she should be ready. We're just gonna clean this guy off, prep it for the primer. You gotta get all this grime off. All right, time to spray some weld through primer on this stuff. We gotta shake it a little more. Not coming out the best. Can you all quiet down? I'm trying to record a video right now. Pretty please? All right, so we got everything primed and ready to go. So I guess we're just gonna start welding the plates in. I'm gonna start with the fronts because they seem a little bit easier than the rears, so let's try it out. Alrighty, let's check out the welds. Not the prettiest, but they're gonna hold, so that's all that matters. Like I said, I have no welding seat time, but after this, I mean, I think I know how to weld, I guess. I thought it would be a lot cooler if I welded this myself, just because like I've done everything on this car myself, so might as well weld it. Even if I don't know 100% about welding, might as well learn as I go, learn a new skill. I've always kind of wanted to know how to do welding, so yeah, this was the perfect opportunity to just learn, I guess, you know? So yeah, just face your fears and just do it, I guess, you know? Like, worst that can happen is it's gonna crack again, but. Alrighty guys, we finally got everything all welded up. All the plates are in. This chassis is officially CMP reinforced. Last time I will ever have to do this on this chassis. These things look so beefy. This thing's ready for all the clutch kicks, even though I won't really need a clutch kick because it's gonna have enough power. But yeah, now all we gotta do is we're gonna grind down all the welds and then throw some primer over there. And then tomorrow I'm gonna grab some seam sealer, seam seal all the welds and everything, just so water and debris doesn't get behind it or anything if there's any little holes or whatever. So yeah, finally guys, finally. All right guys, time to do the final portion of the reinforcement. So we're gonna have to stitch weld these up because this likes to pull away from the chassis. So we're gonna stitch weld the frame to the rear axle carrier panel. And then CMP also sells these plates. Definitely gonna wanna do this when you do the other reinforcement plates. So this basically fixes the entire issue with the E46 chassis. So if I remove this, you can see there's a cavity back here. It's not attached to the frame whatsoever. So then all the stress just transfers over to the wheel arches. So that's when you notice that these start to crack and pull away from the chassis. So in turn, putting these in, we're gonna they just slide right in there. We had to just cut this open. This is non-structural, so it's fine. And yeah, then we're gonna weld this up. So there's spot welds, and then we're gonna weld up here, weld right here, right here, right there. And yeah, it'll tie this entire axle carrier panel together to the chassis. So we never really have to worry about this thing pulling apart ever again. All right guys, it is the next day. We let the seam sealer dry up. Looks pretty dang good. Now we're just gonna toss some paint over the seam sealer and we're gonna start pressing the bushings in. So yesterday we got all of the old bushings out and then we're gonna just press in the new ones. So once we get those all pressed in, this thing should be ready for reassembly. So yeah, the best way I have found to put these CMP subframe bushings in, you can see I kind of marred that one up a bit, trying to bang it in, but I found a very good way to do it. So you're just gonna heat this up with the torch, get it nice and hot, and then we're gonna go and grab quickly, while that stays hot. We have the bushings in the freezer. So this is freezing cold. It's nice and shrunk. And then that's expanded from the heat. So then we got our rubber mallet right here. Place it in there like so, very quickly, just. So yeah, I had to put the camera down because I hit it sideways with one hand. It's a little bit hard to like hold this down. But yeah, once I put the camera down, got it nice and straight. You want to make sure the bushing's straight. It just went straight in. So yeah, we got these all in. Best method for sure, just put these in the freezer. They get really, really cold because they're aluminum. Anything metal that's in the freezer gets pretty cold pretty quick. That was in there for maybe 15-20 minutes. And then we heated that up and pressed in very nice. All right guys, so we finished the seam sealer, the paint, everything. Starting to put it all back together. Haven't really been recording much just because I'm trying to get all this back together. All right guys, the E46 is home safe and sound. Sorry I didn't really record much as far as putting the whole rear end back together, but you all saw it get taken apart. I know you didn't want to see it go all the way back together. So yep, E46 is all back. Reinforced rear end. That thing is not going anywhere now. Huge thank you to CMP for sponsoring this build. It really, really helped out. I was kind of worried about the rear end staying together, and it definitely showed that that rear end was not going to hold together, especially with this JZ in here. Also, huge thank you to Brock for his help. He helped me with some things on the rear end, gave me an extra hand, and I really could not have done it without his shop space and the welder he let me use and everything. So huge shout out to Brock. Go spam his Instagram with some thank yous. Yeah guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We are one step closer to getting this thing back on the road. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all the next one.